Hi, Sheri.
Hey, good
How are
evening.
you?
I am good. Is it better with my
Good.
AirPods or without?
It's fine for me right now. I'm good.
Okay,
Can
let
you
me
hear me okay?
try with let me try with the AirPods.
Okay.
It it depends sometimes when I do these it depends on the interviewer what they prefer. Well, I always want
Okay.
to make sure
Oh yeah, no, I appreciate that, but I'm
I know
honestly
what they prefer based on their equipment because it's some say the AirPods are too
are
airy,
better.
some say they want them. Yeah.
Okay.
Let me there we go. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. And I can hear you. So that means the
Perfect.
microphone is working as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
How's it
Oh, I love your
going?
hair.
I love yours. I was like, I love this blonde you
Yes.
got going on. You took the
Yes.
braids out. I love
Yes.
it. I
I'm
love
like,
it. You
I've
needed
been
a
getting
break from the
blonder and
braids.
blonder.
I love it. I love it. I miss my blonde. I had some blonde braids last year, but I've just been doing like just my natural hair color lately. But I love blonde so much.
Yeah.
To
Yes.
girls, it's fun time. Blondes have more fun. I believe it.
Yes. There we go. I'm claiming it.
Okay, exactly. Well, we can go ahead and get started. I just really appreciate you for even just taking time to do this. So I'm literally just gonna be asking you the questions that that I sent to you earlier, and we'll just make it conversational, and whatever else comes up, we'll just flow.
Perfect.
Awesome. Alrighty. So Sheri, obviously I know who you are. I've known you for at least three and a half, I would say 3.5 years now. But even for those who may not know who you are, just give me like maybe just a one line um, of who it is that you are to the people. Of course, outside of being a mother and a wife and all the hats you wear
Well, that's
professionally.
exactly where I was going to start, right? I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a daughter,
Yeah.
I'm an entrepreneur. I am an empowerment speaker. Where I serve as an empowerment speaker, high performance life coach, and the author of the Image Award nominated book, NAACP Image Award nominated book, Exponential Living. Stop spending
Yeah.
100% of your time on 10% of who you are.
Absolutely.
And that's, when people say, well, who are you? I always say the first thing is I'm a listener.
Mm,
But what I do is serve in that capacity.
I love it. I love it. So, what has brought you the most peace this year?
What has brought me the most peace this year, honestly, has been this slowdown.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I absolutely, uh, it hurts how we got here.
Yeah.
The loss of life
Right.
is devastating. The loss of financial income is devastating. The choices that people have had to make between keeping their jobs or, being the teacher for their kids that are at home
Right.
has been devastating. But what has brought me peace in the midst of all that devastation is when the entire world had to stop.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how much I needed that stop.
I've heard that from so
How,
many people. Yeah.
oh my goodness. And the freeing part is because I know how, I teach peace is our power. So I
Mhm.
know how to stop. But you're constantly fighting FOMO. You're constantly
Yeah.
fighting fear of missing out. You're constantly fighting what happened while you were shutting down or what you thought you may have missed. But when everything shut down and there was nothing for you to miss, there was just such a peace in that.
Yeah.
And then being able to use that time to really talk with people. That was, it was devastating how I got to that place, but in that place, there was such a deeper level of peace.
I love it. I love that. That is so beautiful. So even just honestly, I just want to back up just a little bit because I know, well, first of all, I just always appreciate, I don't know, every time you talk, it just flows, everything flows so well and so easy. So I'm always like, one day I hope that I can just answer questions as easily and as smoothly as Sherry.
A
But
lot of practice.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But even just from well, I'll just say, like, obviously I used to travel with you to you're on your book tours or just any speaking engagements. And so every time you were asked a question, I just always admired. I'm sure you were able to get a lot of practice there, but I've always just admired your way of just peacefully and easily answering questions. So that was just such a beautiful, beautiful response. But just backing up
And can I
to,
say something to that real quick? Because
sure.
I'm glad you even brought that up. No one's ever brought that up, but I'm glad you did
Mm,
because when I say practice, I don't even mean in the moment of answering the question. I
okay.
mean the work that I put into before I even got to the stage or before I got to
Yeah,
the
let's
interview.
talk about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so I have, and I'm still very intentional. Like I spent a long time really working through what are the top questions that people will ask me. What do I want to say? How do I want to say it?
Right.
What's the most impact that people need when I do talk? How
Hmm.
do I not make my answers about me, but genuinely give people real information?
Yeah.
So I'm glad you bring that up because so many people say, I'm going to just speak from my heart.
Hmm.
And I do,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I speak from my heart because I've put intention into making sure I bring value from my heart. There's a difference between just speaking from your heart and bringing value from your heart.
That's good. That's so good. So backing up even just before your book, before exponential living, before just even doing all of this self-work, let's just talk about where you were before you became an author and a life strategist. Like, was at what moment did you realize that, yes, I am very successful in my field, but I'm not completely at peace with me or I'm not completely happy?
Yeah, so that initially came even before I was an entrepreneur. That actually
Okay,
started when I was working at LaFace Records
got it.
and, had the amazing job. I loved my artists. I did the marketing for Usher and Tony Braxton, TLC, Outkast. I
Yeah,
mean, groundbreaking
incredible.
artists that are still relevant to this day,
Right,
right?
yeah.
And I love the people I worked with. I mean, I worked with some of the most influential people that are still impacting industries to this day.
Mhm.
But I was miserable. Like
Mhm.
I was miserable. And so that's where the initial reality began to settle in and that was that all of these external successes wasn't going to give me the peace I needed. And I
Right.
honestly thought I was an anomaly. Like I just thought like this
Wow.
just has to be my stuff, my issue. But as
Yeah.
I went on this path to uncover the power of peace in my life,
Mhm.
those colleagues began, Sheri, don't tell nobody, but girl, what are you doing? Like, I need some of that, right? And I
Yeah.
just started sharing what I was doing for me,
Okay.
and it started working for others.
That's amazing. I love that. That it was just in your, internal circle initially, but
Yes.
then,
Yes.
obviously it's turned into a whole lifestyle for you. So in addition to yourself, even during that time, were there other people around you that like really knew you, that knew you weren't happy?
No.
Okay. So it's like you were
No.
just putting on this show or
No.
just like, oh,
Oh,
everything's great, but you're like, everything's
but you know what? But I didn't even realize, like, I didn't realize it
not.
until I
Okay.
actually crashed and burned. Like,
Okay.
I just thought it was, as most people still do, I thought it was just the normal realities of hard work, right?
Okay.
When you hear what you're doing, girl, I'm grinding. How you
Mm.
feel, girl, I'm making it happen.
Yeah.
You hear it all the time. Man, I didn't sleep at all. Like my brain was on all night. And we equate that to my brain was going all night, like meaning there's ideas coming to me in my sleep versus
Okay.
no, you're not sleeping. Your body
Wow.
is not resting.
Right.
And so I didn't realize, I knew something was off, but I
Hmm.
thought it was, I need to work harder. It just means I'm
Oh,
supposed to be
wow.
vice president. I'm just not
Okay.
making enough money. I need to create bigger moves for my artists. Oh,
Mm.
just means to buy something else. So I knew there was something missing, but I thought it was, I need a relationship. You're single.
Hmm.
You need to start dating. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
you just aren't being good. You need to be better at what you're doing. And it literally was when why I say I crashed and I burned. It wasn't
Wow.
until I crashed and burned. And it still was on the other side of it that I
Mm.
realized, what I'm really missing is peace. Like I don't
Yeah,
need a,
that's
like
huge.
I'm missing, yeah, like I'm missing the core of what makes all of this other external stuff make sense.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Got it. So you always talk about obstacles, or you and I have talked about obstacles and transitioning and being, just being inevitable. How did you, or how do you recharge and just push past your fears and maintain just overall faith?
Yeah, I am a woman of faith. I'm glad you ended there, because I am. I'm a
Yeah,
woman of faith.
that's
Yeah,
who
I don't
you,
put
I
my
know.
faith on others, right? Like,
Yeah.
I can be in a room with people of many different truths and philosophies.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't put my faith on others, but for me, the core of it is prayer.
Okay.
For others, it may be, they call it meditation, they may call it journaling. The reality is I have to stay in that quiet still place, or find that quiet still place
Mm-hmm.
where I can hear the Holy Spirit, where the Holy
Got it.
Spirit, which my favorite book says, the Holy Spirit is our comforter.
That's
So
good.
in that
Yeah.
place of, when I need comfort, um and then in that, again, the Bible says, I did not give you the spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and a sound mind.
Hey
So
now.
I'm constantly seeking that power, that sound mind. And so how I stay in that place, it's like you got to pursue it. It's not, the storm is not going to settle down, the obstacles are not going to stop, the transitions are never going to not be there.
Yeah.
It's, yeah, we have to internally fight for our peace.
Yeah, that's so good. It's just funny because I mean, I know you and I talk about it all the time, and I'm like, I'll always joke about it because I will never forget our conversation. Like the first time I talked to you, I was just rambling and asking you so many questions. And I'm like, Sherry, like, why is this happening? What is it? And you're like, Maya, stop, just stop. And I was like, stop.
Just
Like, did
stop.
I say something wrong? And you're like, no, but you are looking for every answer that's not going to be
Hmm.
there. And you're like, peace is an everyday thing. Peace is an everyday pursuit. Like, you cannot just, think that you're going to get it overnight or think that you are going to get whatever success that you are seeking or whatever purpose and gifts that you are, tapping into. That's not going to happen overnight. And I
Yeah.
really thought it was. And I don't know why I thought it was.
And another reason why I had to get you to stop is because you were so frantic
Yeah,
about your future
I
that you
was.
weren't celebrating what you had
I
accomplished. I
didn't.
mean, you had accomplished a lot. And even when I brought that up to you, remember, you was
Mm-hmm.
kind of like, oh, yeah, I did, didn't I?
Yeah, like not even settling or being present on wins. And that's something that I have been working on every day, or at least like working on much more than I ever have. And it's because I had, that experience or even just spent that time with you. Like, I think, I always try to acknowledge, but I was really in a dark place, and there were days or when you were like, "Come on, let's go," or "We got a book signing
Yep.
today," or I have an engagement today," and I'm like, "Okay, like I know I'm gonna have some kind of peace or some kind of happiness or something with Sheri because she's gonna pull me out," and you really did help me out. You did.
Yeah.
You did.
And the thing is, for you, you received it. A part of the challenge that many people face,
Mm-hmm.
especially younger in what I've come across in the 20s, because
Right.
all of us are hard-headed, right? Um,
Super.
but you were open to receive it. You were open to then do the work, because
Mhm.
I didn't let you off the hook. I
You did
gave you
not.
action.
Not
I
at
did
all.
not let you off the hook, right?
Yeah.
But you were open to do the work. You didn't resist, even
Yeah.
if you didn't understand it, even if you didn't
Mm-hmm.
get it. And I talked to your mom a couple times, and she was like,
Yeah.
"Okay, Maya's doing it. She don't really get what you're saying, but she's doing it because she
She's
respects
trying.
you." Yeah.
Yeah,
but
tremendously,
you even when it didn't make sense to you, you trusted me. You
I
trusted the
did.
process. You
Yeah.
trusted yourself in the process.
Yeah.
And that's huge, because honest, everybody willing to trust the process. Everybody's not willing to just say, if I don't get it, okay, I see what you've done, then
Right.
let me at least trust that. Like, even if
Yeah.
I don't understand what you're saying, I see I love this quote. Success leaves clues,
Hmm.
right? So even if I don't fully get what you're saying, your
Okay.
success is a clue. It leaves clues.
Mm-hmm.
If nothing else, you've done more than I've done. So
Yeah.
I'm a trust. I don't even. I'll go with that part. Like
For sure.
I'm being coached right now, and there's something that there's a few things that the person is saying, and I don't really get it. But the reality is, I'm trying to get the success that they have. That's why they're
Mm-hmm.
coaching me.
Right.
So hey, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, sometimes you just, I think that's even just where faith comes back in. And it's like, I may not know what it's going to look like, but I know that this is going to guide me or lead me to the next step. So it seems like everything just finds itself tying back into one thing or the other. So that's beautiful. So even in exponential living, you talk about pursuing peace, choosing clarity, and living courageously. What are some general pointers you can give young people to begin the journey to achieve these three things?
Yeah. So the first thing is, and usually I say this what I'm going to say as the third thing, but I'm going to say
Okay.
it directing it to young people as the first thing, and
Okay.
that is give yourself grace. Give
Mm.
yourself grace. Talking to you. There's another young lady in Canada. I was talking to her. She DM me. We get on a call, and she's literally talking pretty much the same conversation you and I had
Yes.
and others. And I go, how old are you? And she was like, I said, you're what, 24, 25? She was like, I'm 25. I was like, I know,
That's so
because,
funny.
and I said to you, I said to her, I said to others, give yourself grace. Like, give yourself grace to appreciate what you've accomplished. Give
Yeah.
yourself grace to know that you're on the path. The path is curvy. The path is heely. The path is got potholes, and then give yourself the grace to go through the process,
Yeah.
because it's not the destination, it's what you learn on the journey. So the first thing I would say is give yourself grace. The second thing is stop saying I don't know.
Mm.
Just stop saying I don't know. Now, you may not have all the answers, but you know at least a part of the answer.
Mm-hmm.
You may not be ready to accept what you have to do. You may not be ready to make the changes that are required, but you know. And you
Yeah.
don't have to know everything. You just got to know something, because every time you say, I don't know, you completely negate everything you do know.
Right.
So
Right.
stop saying, I don't know. And then the third thing I would offer is get help.
Hmm.
Get help. Get help. Like,
That's
get
real.
help. Oh my God, get help. Like, you were willing to get help. Do you know how many people I come across who just, I got, this is wrong and this is out of order. This is whatever, da da da
Yeah.
da. And I may say, okay, some naturally I charge. That's what I do.
Mm-hmm.
But there's certain people that I don't charge. I'm like, call me, I'll help you. They never call.
Wow.
They never call. And here's the crazy
It's
part.
free
I
game.
know,
It's free
oh my God. And I know the ones who are never going to
game.
call.
Mm.
I
Mm.
know.
How do
Most of the
you
time,
know though, Sheri?
oh, I know from their conversation. And
Okay.
well, let me just say, I've learned over time,
Okay.
because I used to hunt them down. Like, I was going to help you, and I'll be the one calling. I thought we were going to have. Now I've been across it enough to know the one, because they're just they in there is a comfort in feeling like the victim.
Okay. Wow. I was just talking to someone about, yeah, just being a victim all the time. And it's like, when do you get tired? I think there was even a point where I was just like tired of myself. Like, I think you get tired of
Mhm.
you being in your own way. So that was bothering me. And I was like, okay, well, you have to change your behavior. Something has to shift, because if you plan on going to a certain place, you can't keep having the same habits.
Oh my God. What did Einstein say? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a new result.
Yeah.
Words to live by.
Yep. That's so good. That's so good. Wow, wow, wow. Yeah. So as we even prepare to go into a new year, because this year has been trying. So as we prepare to go into 2021, are there daily and weekly goals? Because even going back to you saying like I didn't get, I wasn't always able to answer these questions the way I'm able to answer them now, or, having these practices or things just flowing the way they do so easily. Are there daily and weekly practices that me and my generation can set to avoid spending 100% of our time on 10% of who we
Mhm.
are?
Absolutely. And I'm just going to list some and, find those things that work for you and disregard
Okay.
those things that don't.
Yeah.
Journaling is so important.
Okay.
Uh, Journaling is important. Journaling and journaling comes in different forms. So for me, journaling is when I'm in my prayer closet or when I get an
Hello.
idea or I get a concept. I'm going to see if I can show on the screen.
Okay.
Um, I I don't know if you guys can see. Let's see if we
Let's
can get
see.
an angle where the
Maybe it'll
light.
focus. I hope so. Maybe. I think it's trying to
Did you
focus.
see all those notes?
Yeah, I do see the notes though.
Right? Like I constantly am out, it's in my phone. And
I
I'll
love
just
it.
like, oh my God, it's an idea, it's a concept, it's a revelation.
Hmm.
Or you can have, written journals, or you can record it, right? Or
I
you
do. I
can do a
record
reel.
myself sometimes. I'm like, if I have a
Yeah,
concept and I can't get everything out, I will record myself talking for however
record.
long. Yeah.
Yeah, you can record. Here's a you it can your journal can be lives on Instagram that you whatever it is,
Yeah.
but getting it out is so critical because we
Hmm.
have to hear ourselves think, right?
Absolutely.
So some form of journaling. The second thing is kind of what I referenced earlier is do what you did. You reached out, you asked, you
Yeah.
listened,
Hmm.
and then you did the things that we talked about.
Absolutely.
So, and mentors don't have to just be someone you can talk to. Some of
Hmm.
my most impactful mentors I've never met. I
Wow.
get their
Yeah.
emails, I'm on their web pages, I sign up for their webinars, and really pay attention to the people that you want to track their success. Remember,
Right.
success has clues.
For sure.
So, who are those people that you want to model? And they don't have to be a lot more successful than you. Like I've got a woman who's a friend of mine, a friend, a colleague. Our success is pretty equal, but I model her. I so respect and am inspired by the way
Hmm.
she does business,
Yeah.
that I model the things that I see. But I didn't filter it to make it align with me. So I'm not a carbon copy. I'm not a duplicate. I'm not
Right.
imitating. What I'm doing is I'm looking at how effective she is at what she does and then realizing, okay, here's the gap in what I'm doing.
Hmm.
Here's the area of growth for me.
For
So
sure.
find those individuals you can model. And then lastly, you kind of said it in getting out of your own way, um, but set your ego down and recognize that I'm actually going to take a different twist on it,
Okay.
um, and recognize when I say set your ego down, recognize that in your 20s, in your early 30s, there's so much life in front of you. You don't have to. The internet and social media has made your generation think that you have to have it all today. People
Yes.
every day show the trailer of their life versus
Man,
the 2.5 hour movie.
I'm
And
telling
so
you.
your age has grown up in this, I see the success. And so
Yeah.
you beat yourself up. I don't have this. I don't have this. I don't have that. I don't have that. And so then your ego will make you make decisions that are not long term,
Mm.
healthy decisions
Mm-hmm.
because your ego is trying to be satisfied today.
Yeah.
Delayed gratification is so powerful when you have a plan. I'm going to say that again.
Yeah, please.
Delayed
One more time.
gratification is so powerful when you have a plan.
Wow. Yeah. That's so
I
good.
need to
That's so
write that
good.
down.
I was
God
about
just
to
gave
say,
that to
did
me,
you
girl.
just,
Let
I
me
was about
write
to
that
say,
down.
did he give it to you just now or is that somewhere else? Because I was like, I don't think, I don't remember hearing that before. That's a new one, Sheri. That's a new
That's
one.
look, that's that practice part. You'll hear that again another time.
Right. I love that. I love that. But even just going back to
Yes.
what you were saying, like I feel like, like I mean, people say like we're a microwave generation that we just want things overnight. And that's exactly what I wanted. And I promise you, like there are moments where you are in my head and it's like, Sheri said, I'm always going to be in transition. I'm always going to be in transition. I'm always going to be transitioning. And it's like, not just with age, but like it may be a season. Like I'm not going to be the same as I was, now that I was in January, or, things may shift in a month, or, I may supposed to be serving in one place for this season, but I'm not going to be in the next season. So just receiving like, and really being present in those moments is something that I've learned tremendously from you. And then I think another beautiful thing is that I observed you just being a woman in power, like you said, not being a duplicate, being your own body, but just watching you sit up with other women in power and you guys empowering each other. Like I think that's
Yes.
something that's so important. So even for my generation, I know like everyone's kind of big on just like empowering each other, or just like Black women. Like, is there something specifically that you would want to tell young Black women now in their 20s that you felt like you needed?
Yes. Oh my God, support each other.
Mm-hmm.
Support each other. Um, and when I say support each other, I mean not just say good job, good job. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
how can you collaborate? How
Yeah.
can you put your apples in one bowl and
Yeah.
come together?
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that colleagues and I've watched in other cultures and especially with men, with
Yeah.
certain men,
Mm-hmm.
they literally come, they can all do the same thing, but they'll sit at the table and say, okay, I know we're all speakers, but you're going to collect the money in the back of the room. You're
Mm-hmm.
going to set up the production. You're going to make all the pitch calls and you're going to be the one on stage.
Yeah.
And for 2 years, we're going to go make $2 million. We're going to split the money and then everybody can go off and be their own speaker.
Yeah.
We
That's
won't do
amazing.
that.
I
We all of us say, I'm the speaker, I'm the
know. Oh
speaker,
boy.
I'm the entrepreneur, I'm the entrepreneur. And again, what we don't put together a plan where we all elevate and then take our winnings and go make even more. And
Yeah.
so I still would love to be able to bring that together, especially with Black women.
Yeah.
I see it more now
Mm-hmm.
than I did.
Definitely more.
Um, oh,
but
I see it a
but we
lot
still
more
got a long
now.
way to go. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a lot more now.
Mm-hmm.
But I still say that we've got a lot more work to do.
Yeah.
We've got a lot more work to do.
For sure. For sure. I think that even when you were saying like, everybody kind of even knowing their role. And sometimes I do feel like you have to quiet your ego just to, not saying you have to compromise and always like shut off and not be yourself, but even knowing your strengths and really like running into those things and finding other people that kind of lift you up, or that I know I'm in a season of wanting to be around people that are smarter than me. So I have to quiet my ego and plan to be better and just listen more than I speak. But I think that's huge. I love even just watching. I have a pretty huge, I would say I'm grateful to have a support system of Black women. So just networking, Issa Rae always talks about us networking across, but I'm happy that I can say I can network up and talk to people like you, but also bring that back to my generation. And that's why I even wanted to have this podcast, because I want us to have just an archive of wisdom to come back to when we feel like we're lost. But I know, you've lived it, you've done all these things. And so in order for me to do better, I have to just seek wisdom from you guys. So I'm just super, super grateful for you, super thankful that you were able to love on me in that season. And of course, even, when I told you I was moving to LA and you're like, I'm always going to be here for you. I'm always supporting
Mhm.
you. So that is just super, super amazing. And I'm super grateful and I'm thankful. I'll keep saying it forever and ever and ever.
And
You were just a
and
huge
you know
like,
what?
impact on my life.
And that means a lot because I didn't have a me when I was your age.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so for you, and I am not going to cry. I need this
I
makeup
know.
for
Don't
another
make me
interview,
cry
okay?
today, Sheri.
I'm
Don't do
not going to
it.
cry.
Don't do it.
No, no. Um, but I made that promise that if God blessed me with my dream, that
Mm,
I would be what I wanted so badly. And I didn't, I there were so many women that were in positions of influence and power when I was your age,
Yeah.
and none of them helped me. Now, I
Wow.
ended up knowing all of them. I ended up working as colleagues with them, but they never poured into me. They never opened doors. They never
Yeah.
presented opportunities ever, like
Wow.
ever.
That's
And
so
so it
interesting.
means a lot. Oh my goodness, when you ask like what would I have wanted, I
Yeah.
would want to encourage more people to reach back and do the things that you and I have been blessed to do,
Mm-hmm.
even more so. And the thing is that your time is limited, so you can't be there for everybody. But when you
No.
find someone like you that's willing to listen, that's willing to do the work, that's willing to say, okay, here's where I messed up, here's where I've got victory, and guess what, and then circle back and say,
Yeah.
look what I've accomplished, or look what I've done, and keep me in the loop like you've done. Though you have, oh my God, if more of us could be present like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't have a me, and I'm so grateful for you sharing with me that I'm the me I wish I had for you.
Oh,
Yes.
I love that. I love that. I love you so much. Like you just, oh man. I even like when we were talking the last time, I was kind of just going back to different moments of me just sitting in a corner and looking up at you on stage. And I'm like, okay, like if I can just do this or I can be this for someone else. So the fact that you are able to do that, I'm just so thankful. And even I just want to publicly say thank you so much for even just being obedient to, I'm sure not only me, I'm sure there are other Black girls or just women that you inspire all the time. But thank you for just taking time seriously to pour into me and love on me in that season and seasons to come, because I'll probably still be calling you like, Sherry,
Hmm.
this
You
is going
better
on,
look.
that's going
And
on.
I won't go into detail, but I did send your resume, and they
I
have it when
appreciate
the
that. I
as all
do.
that unfolds. So the
Yes,
I
ma'am.
don't know. Yeah. So it's
Yeah,
still there. I will
thank you.
forever be looking out.
Yes, so that is always appreciated. Get you a Sherry, please. If you don't have one, please. It might not be Sherry, but just someone that's gonna love on you and pour onto you. I love that. Even I just talked with my mom, even in addition to the support, gratefully that I have from my family, I'm like, I'm so happy I can reach out to people who feel like aunts and uncles and cousins, who are a part of my village. And so it's just an extension of God's love. So I
Yes.
thank you. I don't want to hold up too much of your time, but I just appreciate you for coming on here. If there's any other words of wisdom or something on your heart that you have to say, please feel free to share it now. But if
Well,
not, then we can.
I'm a marketing girl at heart, so
Yes, please
I
promote.
definitely gotta let people know where they can get that book right there.
Yes, please.
And I'll tell you this quick story. So when I was
Okay.
doing the book proposal,
Mm-hmm.
my agents and others, they were like, your book is definitely gonna sell very well with like
Mm-hmm.
40, 45 plus.
Mm-hmm.
But millennials, anyone younger, they're not gonna in any way want your book, right?
Oh, please, please.
Right. And so I say that to say, but here's what we discovered is, yes, that 40 plus age group, they're in a different level of transition. And so the insight helps them. But
Mm-hmm.
that 20 age group is like, I want to know how to do it this way from the beginning.
We
I don't
want
want
to
to
know
get to 40.
now. We want
And
to
I
know
want to know now.
now.
How do I do
Yeah.
it now? And so that part just so it brings me so much joy
Mm-hmm.
when I do hear from millennials the impact that the
Yeah.
book has. So
Yeah.
it's available. The hardcover, the ebook, and the audiobook are available everywhere books are sold. But you can also get an autographed copy or autographed copies at peaceisthenewsuccess.com.
All
So
right.
peaceisthenewsuccess.com is where you can get autographed copies. And then I would love for your community to follow me on Instagram
Absolutely.
at
Please do. You
Sheri
better
Riley.
promote Sherry.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, at Sheri Riley, SHERIRILEY. Yes.
Yes. And we will do so. Well, thank you so
Yes.
much. I just appreciate you. I'm gonna stop recording now. But this was so great. I love